Hi, my name is David Hegger. I am the Chief Financial Officer of the U.S. Operations. I know how important safety is to our culture, and I wanted to provide a safety contact today so hopefully you will enjoy this safety contact. The title of my safety contact is Safety Through Repetition. That is, safety through repetition. And one more time, safety through repetition. I want to take you back to 1975 and tell you a little story. Hopefully most of you can relate to it. It was a time when I was growing up in Aveston, Illinois, a small town of 700 people in southern Illinois that I had just graduated from high school. My hair was a little longer and had a little more color to it, but I was on my way to college at Southern Illinois University that coming fall. SIU Carbondale was about an hour and a half, hour and three-quarter drive from Aveston, and my plan was to drive Sunday evening, stay at the dorms during the week, and come back on Friday afternoons, and come home every weekend. Being from a small town, I knew most everybody in town, and I was aware of a guy that had just finished his first year at SIU Carbondale, and I had been talking to him about SIU, and I found out that he too comes home almost every weekend, and after talking about it for a while, we decided that it makes sense for us to carpool. So that's what we decided to do, and so the first trip down to Carbondale, his name was Daryl, and Daryl decided, he said he would drive. So Daryl pulls up to my house in a 1969 Ford Mustang Mach 1. This Mustang had a 351 cubic inch V8 engine in it, automatic transmission, about a 300 horsepower stock engine, and top speed of about 128 miles per hour. Really nice car. And of course, the reason Daryl was coming home every weekend was that he liked working on cars, and he had been working on this Mustang and had tweaked it and added Holley carburetors and headers and a performance cam, and even put a shift kit in the automatic transmission so that when he shifted from first to second, it would the tires would squeak a little bit, and he'd get all kinds of attention as it goes down the road. So this particular Mustang was probably pushing 400, 450 horsepower as Daryl fine-tuned it. So I get in the car, excited about riding in the car, and get in the front seat, and I wait for Daryl to put it in reverse and getting settled in, and Daryl turns to me. About 10, 15 seconds went by, and he says, "You need to put your seatbelt on." I looked at Daryl, and a couple things went through my mind. I had never really worn a seatbelt. This was 1975. It wasn't mandated by law. It was they had just started putting seatbelts in cars in 1968, but they didn't mandate people to wear them until 1985 in Illinois. And in fact, there's one state that it's still to this day is not mandated that you have to wear a seatbelt in a vehicle, and that is the Live Free or Die state. That's are known as New Hampshire. Now, back to the car, and I saw Daryl had his seatbelt on, and so what went through my mind is that, you know, we may make this hour and a half trip in about an hour. And I had never ridden with Daryl, so I didn't know how fast he would go, and I thought, well, probably a good idea if I did put the seatbelt on, and probably be safer. And the other thing that went through my mind was that it was really a neat car, and I really wanted to ride in it. And of course, if I didn't appease Daryl, he would probably make me get out and walk. And the third thing I thought in my mind, I needed a ride to school and come back. And so at the end of that brief thinking about it, came to the conclusion that I'll put the seatbelt on, be uncomfortable, and we'll ride down to school together. So that's what I did. Snapped the seatbelt on. Daryl had his seatbelt on, and away we went. And Daryl pretty much drove the speed limit. We got down there in an hour and a half, hour and 3/4, and then that on Sunday night, during that week we both went to our separate ways, classes, and met up on Friday afternoon to drive back to ride back home. So I hopped in the car, Daryl's car, Friday afternoon, and thinking about it, getting settled in her, and didn't think anything of it. Daryl was again kind of waited 10-15 seconds, and he looked over and he said, "You got to put your seatbelt on. You need to put your seatbelt on." So I put the seatbelt on, and away we went, and went back home to Aveston for the weekend. Well, Sunday night came around. It was my turn to drive, and the one thing that Daryl and I had in common was we both drove Fords. Although mine was a Ford 1971 Ford Pinto, it was all of about 98 cubic inches, four-cylinder, and about 85 horsepower and top speed of about 78 miles an hour going downhill on Sandstone Mountain. But I had upgraded the stereo, and I had a 4-speed on the floor, so I didn't feel too bad about picking Daryl up in my Pinto. So I went to pick Daryl up, and Daryl gets into the front seat, and he's wrestling around a little bit. He finally finds the seatbelt. The seatbelt had been stuck away underneath the seat between the console and the seat, and he hadn't been able to get it out, and because it hadn't been used since I owned the car. And Daryl buckles up, and I think nothing of it. I didn't have my seatbelt on because, again, I really wasn't used to it and thought it was uncomfortable to wear a seatbelt. So away we went. Sunday night went down to college and back on Friday again, and Daryl buckles up on the way back home. And so every time we ride together for the next several weeks, he's buckled up. I buckle up in his car, and I don't buckle up in my car. But one time I asked, when I was driving, I told Daryl, I said, "You don't really have to buckle up in my Pinto." I said, "We're not going to go that fast." And he said, no. He says, I ever since I had started driving, I've been in the habit of buckling my seatbelt. Don't even think about it. Wouldn't feel comfortable without it. And besides, you read about all these people that have not worn seatbelts and been thrown through windshields and have gotten hurt pretty badly, or even died because they didn't wear a seatbelt. And it was about this time it dawned on me, I'd finally gotten it through my head that, it does make sense to wear a seatbelt. So I buckled up along with Daryl, and the rest of the semester, as we drove back and forth, I really got used to it, and it was this repetitiveness or repetition that influenced me to put my seatbelt on every time I get into a vehicle, whether it's mine or somebody else's car. To bring this a little bit closer, a little bit up to date, as I think about our operations and the safety culture we have, a lot of it depends on this repetition. It depends on people doing their job and doing it safely, and repeating these processes that are safe processes, repeating and going to training and doing those things. So I think it has a significant role in our safety culture. And to even bring it a little more current, I think we now have we have another seatbelt that we all need to wear, and we need Daryl and others to be Daryl to tell people that we need to wear our mask in this COVID-19 world. And we need people to basically do that automatically. So we need to remind people, stay 6 feet apart, wash your hands, disinfect areas, things of that nature. And I think this is our new safety belt. And like the safety belt, these masks will likely go through improvements over time. In fact, a few weeks ago, I was on a COVID committee call, and I was just thinking about the future and with COVID and what it might look like, and I kind of doodled a little drawing that I put together, and I gave the drawing to after the call. I gave the drawing to Jim Campbell, and I'm not sure what he did with it. He probably framed it and it's got it hanging in his house somewhere. But I did draw a new and improved version, and wanted to share that with you. My vision of the future is you would have a battery-operated fan on your belt that would suck air through a HEPA filter and run air through a hose. That hose would be hooked to your a cape that would ventilate in front of your face and out, and the air would exhaust out of your hard hat. And this would all be one piece of equipment, much like how we ventilate the face at our coal mines. You run ventilation past your face, and that's hopefully we'll have a vaccine. Hopefully therapeutics will be developed, and we won't have to deal with this. This drawing will never become reality. But I want to thank you for listening to me, and that's my safety contact for today. Thanks.